Claressa Shields calling Remy Ma all kinds of names, calling her out of her name, saying F Remy Ma, is wild when you remember that you were the one who originally reached out to her for help, advice, and guidance, and now you're publicly tied up with her husband. That's really what we need to talk about today, because the audacity is on another level. We're talking about Claressa Shields, or better yet, the person who pretended not to be Claressa Shields, only to end up exposing herself as Claressa Shields anyway. Calling into Hood Champion Sports, acting like she was someone else, claiming to be close to Claressa Shields, just to later reveal it was actually her the whole time. And then boom, she's all over the blogs, on the Jumbotron, everywhere, but for all the wrong reasons once again. What really gets me is how she does this goofy back and forth with bloggers, inserts herself into the chaos, and then immediately hops online to play victim. Suddenly, she's being targeted. Suddenly, she's being bullied. Meanwhile, she has no problem going on the attack against other black women, saying reckless things, calling people names, and then expecting her behavior to go unchecked. Like everyone is just supposed to sweep it under the rug, pretend it didn't happen, pretend they didn't hear it, and move on. No, that's not how this works, and that's why we have to talk about it. Here's the part that really doesn't make sense to me. You reached out to Remy Ma. You wanted styling tips. You wanted advice. You wanted to look like Remy Ma, literally. You studied her, admired her, and asked her for help. Then fast forward, and now you're intimate with her husband. You're actively involved in an entanglement with her husband, but you refuse to call it what it is. You refuse to acknowledge the truth. Claressa Shields, you are a mistress. Claressa Shields, you are in an entanglement. This man is not your boyfriend. How can a man be your boyfriend when he is legally married to another woman? Someone makes that make sense, because it does not. And then we get to the call-in moment, when she finally slipped up and told on herself, when she said this is about my brand, my business, my fight, and started ranting about people saying her tickets aren't selling, talking about how she puts food on the table, how she doesn't have tax issues, how she doesn't have money problems, how she signed the most lucrative boxing deal in history for $8 million, all while laughing it off but clearly pressed. And on top of that, she went on a full rant about Remy Ma. So now here we are. All this energy is being spent calling another woman names when that same woman was once someone you reached out to for support. All this chaos, all this noise, all this crashing out instead of staying focused. And that's really the issue, because at the end of the day, none of this looks good, and none of it helps your brand the way you think it does. So here's the thing. Claressa Shields said something that really stood out. She talked about all the energy being poured into her and Papoose's relationship, and she spoke in third person like she wasn't even part of it. That right there told me everything was off, that she wasn't seeing the situation clearly. Because let's be real, at that time, Papoose was still married to Remy Ma, and Claressa acting like this is some separate thing, ignoring that history, is wild. And if you follow the timeline, technically you could argue that Papoose is cheating on Remy Ma right now. But according to Remy Ma, he allegedly cheated on her while she was in prison. That's what she claimed, and the public didn't really know because when she got out, she allegedly had to confront someone on Thanksgiving for being with Papoose while she was locked up. Imagine fighting someone instead of enjoying your turkey, dressing, ham, cornbread, and greens. That's how serious it got. Papoose never publicly denied it, so the allegations stand. Remy Ma also claimed that Papoose had to handle someone physically because of the situation, and that tells me a lot about their dynamic. Papoose and Remy Ma will go to extreme lengths to protect and defend each other. Even after all the drama, even when the battle rap community exposed that Remy Ma allegedly had someone else, Papoose was still on her couch, still posted up at her place. So Claressa Shields, even when she caught him allegedly messaging her all night, seeing texts where she was begging him to show her publicly, begging like Keith Sweat for attention, he remained loyal, in a sense, to Remy Ma. That shows you where his priorities were. All of this makes it clear that Claressa Shields has been putting so much energy into something that was never fully hers to claim. And Claressa Shields also said on Hood Champion Sports that nobody brought that same energy and straight up said F Remy Ma, F Remy Ma. So listen, that tells me something. You're salty about the coverage Remy Ma and Papoose get compared to what you and Papoose are getting. But here's the kicker. You're never getting the wife-level respect. You're never getting that spotlight. When Remy Ma and Papoose roll out as a celebrity couple, you know what I mean? Papoose was right there, and they were literally showcased as the poster couple for Black love, holding it down through every up and every down. When you get that kind of press, that kind of attention, that televised wedding, all that reality show exposure, girl, you're on Love and Hip Hop. You're literally king and queen of New York. You're courtside at games, walking every red carpet. Everything Claressa Shields is hyping like it's a major flex. Louis Vuitton shopping, courtside seats, award show red carpets. Remy Ma already checked all of that, you know what I mean? She's already been there, done that, and got the glory. So all this, to me it screams new money, new attention. You're clearly lost. But the truth is, nobody's gonna throw that same energy at Remy Ma because she wasn't out here flaunting some alleged boyfriend. She didn't, not until she had no choice. She did it not until she was forced. You see what I'm saying? She was playing her own game. But Claressa Shields, she keeps pushing this Papoose narrative down our throats, expecting us to just go along. And that's why DJ Envy and Charlemagne were so uneasy. They know Remy Ma and Papoose personally. They can't even dig deep and ask the real questions on Breakfast Club because they know how messy this is. They know it's awkward. But Claressa has to own it. She brings half this drama on herself. She refuses to accept being a mistress, a side chick. As long as Papoose is married to Remy Ma and still jetting back to New York where his wife and daughter are, you gotta face reality. I say legally because no divorce decree exists. Nobody's shown me a single document proving Remy Ma and Papoose are divorced. And now Remy Ma's back rocking her wedding ring, you feel me? She even reposted an old clip, basically calling Papoose her husband again. Yeah, on purpose. And Papoose was still in New York when she posted it. So at the end of the day, you're knowingly lying down with a married man. You're sticking your nose in the messy business of people who fought and clashed over each other, who allegedly dealt with other rumors and yet refused to end the marriage. Claressa Shields, tell me, how do you see this ending well for you? How do you honestly think you're gonna be the new Remy Ma or step into the role of Mrs. Remy Ma? Girl, it's just not happening. Even Papoose, through all this, told that story on Hood Champion Sports and basically said he's still willing even after all that alleged cheating drama. But hold up, I still wonder if maybe Papoose was the one who cheated first and Remy Ma was just protecting him, protecting the image, you know what I'm saying? And listen, they literally did the same thing to each other when the cheating rumors came out. They went after whoever the side chick was. I'm honestly shocked that Remy Ma hasn't popped off on you yet, Claressa Shields, that y'all haven't had a full-on confrontation, because technically, that is still her husband. Now let's be real, Remy Ma was heated when she put everything out there. She was mad, especially about the money side of it. All the bills she was covering for Papoose and his family with nothing coming back. Whatever they agreed Papoose would pay, yeah, he stopped paying. I don't even know if he was broke, but allegedly he was pawning stuff, jewelry that Remy Ma had insured and had receipts for. Claressa Shields, none of this is a good look for you. You're out here trying to convince bloggers and platforms to give energy to you and Papoose, telling them not to hate, but we've known Remy Ma for decades. We've watched her and Papoose for decades. We know their story. They never shoved themselves down our throats. But Claressa, you think that by putting Papoose front and center, you're gonna get that Remy Ma and Papoose treatment, and it's just not gonna happen. They've been together, technically still together, for this long. No finalized divorce in sight. And now suddenly it looks like Papoose might be making money, maybe actually working, maybe buying Remy Ma fur coats or who knows what else. Maybe there's a renewed spark. But even if not, Remy Ma is petty enough to stall a divorce just to keep control, one way or another. Claressa Shields, you keep blowing up online calling Remy Ma the B word, saying F Remy Ma after you were literally seeking her advice and trying to befriend her. And now you're parading around with Papoose like he's the prize, as if he's not Remy Ma's husband. This is not going to end well. You've got to leave married people alone. If they're gonna divorce, let them finish that process before stepping in. But here you are telling the same story, oh, Remy Ma cheated, Papoose went after the alleged boyfriend. That's the same story Remy Ma told about the situation when she got out of jail. Somehow, you haven't crossed Remy Ma yet, but it's basically the same playbook, which is wild, and it tells me, even with all this, it wasn't a deal breaker for Papoose and Remy Ma. They still stayed together, still crashed out over each other, even with the alleged divorce filing last May. Remy Ma said she was ready for the divorce, tried to get Papoose to do it, but still, nothing's final. Still, nothing's final.
And like she said, when she calls, Papoose answers. When she calls, he flies to New York. Anytime she wants, Claressa Shields. Legally, if anything ever happens to Papoose, he gets sick, whatever, who's on the emergency paperwork? Who handles his medical records, estate, decisions? The wife, which you're not. So there it is. That's the end of the road for this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.